This is the conversation where I like to delve deep into DJs' journeys, their path, how their affair with music began, and to see how and where they arrived at where we are today. So today I'm very, very excited to welcome a true titan of today's techno scene, the all-round incredible human being that is Nicole Moudaber. Nicole is a woman that has played many roles for many years in our industry. From promoter to DJ, record label owner, radio presenter, broadcasting to millions every week. You are, most importantly, at the top of your game and campaigning for social justice, which is so important to me, and I'm so great to see how important it is to you. So without further ado, hello, Nicole. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, look, make sure you talk as loud as we can so we make sure everybody can hear your amazing voice. So, thanks for joining me. Where are you at the moment, Nicole?
I'm in London. I'm at home.
And have you been there since lockdown? Or?
Oh my God, yeah. I've been here since mid-March. I had to rush back from New York, and I've been here since. The longest ever I've been in my apartment.
It's crazy. How have you kind of been accustoming to it after being getting on planes every day and going everywhere, and all of a sudden not seeing anybody, lockdown at home? How have you dealt with it?
It was a shock at first, from seeing thousands of people every weekend, week in, week out, to zero. It was weird, to say the least. It was like withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah.
Unsettling.
Unsettling. So unsettling. Yeah.
But I'm sleeping a lot.
Yeah. Catching up on some Zeds.
Luxury I didn't have. So
yeah. Looking after yourself. Well, obviously I was really looking forward to seeing you in person, and that's what's been so hard for us with everything, with BMC being rescheduled. But how important and how much more are you valuing that human contact that we haven't had at the moment?
I'm itching for it, obviously.
Yeah.
But being alone was very weird, because you're faced with your own demons somehow. But I try to stay busy. I went into more spirituality. I've been training. I've been following a lot of political stuff, which I'm interested in, and looking up a lot of interviews, documentaries. So trying to fill my time like that.
Knowledge, digesting everything.
Reading books and stuff I never had the time to do, really. So
a bit of me time.
There are pros and cons, obviously. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, totally. Well, look, we're here. We can talk about lockdown and the crisis and the nightmares that's going on all day long, but we are here to talk about you and your journey through with music, basically, and where it all began. So I know you're Lebanese and raised in Nigeria. Lebanese, raised in Nigeria. That's right.
Born in Nigeria.
Oh, you're born in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Right. So tell us about your roots, where you come from.
Well, I was born in Nigeria. My parents are Lebanese. I've been here for more than 20 years now. So I consider myself British too. I'm a mixed salad.
Mixed bag, all sorts.
Yeah.
Variety is the spice, though. Yeah. And so, where was it? Did you have much access to music in your early childhood, or?
Yeah. I was more exposed to. In Africa, in Nigeria, it was all about Afrobeat. So I listened to a lot of funk and soul, a lot of pop, a lot of blues. So it was a mixture of stuff.
Probably a big early influence.
But I was more attracted to the rhythmic music. So lots of percussions and
The love of that tribal beat.
yeah. I mean, I grew up in it. It's in my blood.
Yeah. And so you mentioned Bob Marley. Who else were your kind of early influences that?
James Brown, Aretha Franklin, all the
Can't go wrong with those influences.
Jackson, Madonna, Janet Jackson, Sade, all of them.
Yeah, totally. So was it you started? Did you start promoting before DJing, or was it kind of the same time, or how did it work?
Yeah, I started promoting before DJing, and I started making music also before DJing. So it was the opposite of what everyone does, really.
Mm.
My first party was in Beirut. That was after the war. And that was my first taste of promoting parties, basically. And
About those parties.
I chose a location, a cathedral and a mosque right next to each other in the middle of the bombed out city of Beirut back then. And we threw a party there to defy the notion of civil war. And so we had people from all walks of life, from Druze, Christians, Muslims, Druze, whatever, under the stars, dancing and uniting. And it was a testament that music unites, and a testament of the power of what music does.
And you know, living in a fairly oppressive kind of regime or area, having that release and everybody coming together as that equal, kind of that fundamental.
Until I threw a party during Halloween, and so all the gays of the city came down dressed like in a flamboyant way, and I had undercover intel at that party. And 5 months later, I see this cover on this magazine, which was the equivalent of GQ or Cosmopolitan back then. And the cover was about my party with the headline, Homosexuality and Perversion in Beirut.
Oh,
and
God.
you open the page, like you open the spread, it was 5-page spread of my party. I got called down from the police, from the moral police back then, to question me and give a deposition. Like, who are these people, and do you know them, and did you see them do anything? And it was a Friday afternoon, and you can't find any judges to sign the release form. So I was going to be made an example and stay there for the entire weekend. So I stayed in there for about 6-7 hours.
Wow.
Then my sister, who's a lawyer, managed to get me out.
Thank God.
So that was an experience. And I think since then, I had a bad taste in my mouth, packed my bags, came to London.
Well, it's pretty scary thing to have to go through to want to put yourself in that position again. You're not going to go straight up for it, are you?
Well, I gave them the 2 fingers and I left.
Yeah. So I'm out of it.
You messed with the wrong bitch.
So was that when you came to London?
I came to London permanently then, yeah.
Yeah. And was that when you started looking at DJing, or what happened when you first came over to London? Or?
So I managed to find work. I used to run a label called Southeast, and I thought I would come to London. It was with a partner, and focus on the label. But one thing led to another. I found a job at Turnmills, and I promoted a monthly night for 5.5 years, every month at Turnmills.
What was the night? What was it called?
That was called Soundworks. Soundworks. The label was called Southeast.
Right.
And at Soundworks, I mean, I booked more than 500 DJs.
Yeah.
And one of them is Paco Osuna. I gave him his first London gig ever
Oh, wow.
back then, and many different DJs.
Amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, Stone Mills was quite a club back in those days.
Oh my God, those were the days.
My friends.
Yes,
No,
so
it's,
much fun.
yeah.
So
I mean, 5 years at Mills, you know, you experience a hell of a lot there.
every month. So I used to love the programming aspect of it. So
Yeah.
musically, and I think that's when my ears got trained a lot with music. You know.
Yeah. That programming thing, you know, it's such an important part of a night.
It needs to make sense musically, you know. And so it was a bit like A&Ring
Mm,
and
mm.
finding
You
the up
think,
and coming DJs, the established ones, and you know, I still do it today to an extent.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, I think sometimes it's a real lost art where people have forgotten about how important the programming of the event is.
Yeah,
And you know,
yeah. There's nothing worse to be playing before or after someone that doesn't complement your sound somehow, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, and you know, and it's not your fault. It's the person that's booked you in the wrong place or the wrong time, or the other person, and you know, and you're having to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
not not ideal.
no, not as it is. No.
So when have you looked at DJing then, or are you still
Never.
wasn't moving into that part? No, no.
I promoted and booked all these DJs and never once thought to DJ. No. But then I went to Ibiza and I fell in love with the place and I bought a house there. It was a finca back then. And that required me to focus on that. So I stopped promoting and I moved to Ibiza to finish this finca. It was a tiny little finca, and I turned it into a five bedroom minimal villa.
Amazing.
I think I I was back and forth every week, obviously, but then it was time for me to actually stay in the house to manage all the builders. I think it was around 2005,
Right. Yeah.
that time. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
2004, something. Yeah. When
And
did you come?
so obviously we both have a massive love for Ibiza. You fell in love with Ibiza as soon as you got there. How important is the island? How important is the island to you? And
Very, very important for me. Obviously, I don't live there anymore. But every time I land in Ibiza, there's a little pinch in my heart. But also, she's my spiritual guide somehow. Ibiza. That's how I consider Ibiza.
yeah,
Don't consider it as like a party place because it's got a lot of energy, and I always make a point to try and take a day off and connect
yeah.
on my own with the energies and
It is true.
center myself, you know.
Yeah, it is. It is the spiritual motherland, isn't it? And that's what's always drawn me back every year. And it's one of the few places in the world that I can land there and be more than happy to be totally on my own, because I know as soon as I land in the airport, I'm going to see somebody I know, and you know, it's like coming home.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
It's like this safe, sacred place somehow.
yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's obviously changed a lot over the years. How?
Oh yeah, but you know, I don't see or listen to the noise. I just, you know, I don't see it. Mind you, it's a bit trashy now. Let's face it. From the way we knew Ibiza, it's not the same. It's not the same at all.
VIP culture coming in and making it about money and not about what it should be about.
Exactly. I mean, back in the day, you used to be surrounded with all walks of lives. Now it's all about the VIP tables and you know, the $15,000 tables that you're gonna pop the champagne
Yeah.
and brag about it,
Yeah.
and it's trash.
Yeah. So that's a great thing that you say. You managed to, you just block out the noise, because there's a lot of noise, whether it be Ibiza, whether it be online, whether
Yeah,
it be here. There's always a lot of noise.
because the island is the island, and you know, you just have to step out and go in,
Yeah.
go deep.
Back to, back
Inside.
to into yourself.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And the real you. Totally. I remember from when I first knew you, you were always down for Cold Cocks at Space.
I mean, Carl invited me to play with him in London for the DVD launch he had, and that was in April. I remember April 2009, and that summer I went to play with him at Space Ibiza, and the rest is history.
Yeah, you've never looked back. so, how did your career develop in those first few breakthrough years?
I think it blew up for me when in 2012 when I won the Dance Music Awards in
Right.
the States, and that was for my remix of Chemistry by Carl Cox. It was a drum and bass vocal record. I mean, how would you turn that into techno?
Yeah, you did, but you did.
Smashed it. That record stayed at number one for 3 months at
Wow.
number one on all genres, I think. People were coming to me and telling me, like, move over, enough already. Like,
No chance.
enough.
Once you've had that breakthrough, how did you manage your development over the next few years?
Obsession. Obsession helps.
Yeah.
Dedication, constantly evolving, you know. I don't like to stagnate musically and creatively. So, and I don't like to be pigeonholed into one specific genre. I'm not a techno DJ. Like, I can do many different other things. And if you look at my back catalog, it was house when I first started. And so I think the key is to always reinvent yourself and to have the same motivation and the drive, be inspired and be surrounded with people that inspire you,
100%.
and evolve like that.
It's often very difficult for artists to not get pigeonholed and not to be stuck in that genre that they get known for. How would you explain the best way to not let anybody put you in that box?
It's simple. I mean, the music speaks. If you listen to the music I produced, you can see it varies from all kinds. And also my radio show, I play all the music that I love. And it's a great platform for me to showcase the stuff that I don't normally play in a club or at a festival.
Yeah.
This is a great outlet for me. And one day it can be chill out, and another day it can be tough techno, and anything in between.
How long have you been doing your radio show now?
6 years.
6 years. Is it weekly? Am I right? Is it weekly?
It's weekly.
Yeah. And it's quite a commitment, isn't it?
It's a big commitment, especially when you're on the road.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you got to deliver on time every week. Sometimes you don't feel like it, but you have to.
Yeah.
But now I love it. I just love it. I might take it a bit further. So stay tuned.
How do you keep balanced and grounded when there is so much ego and bullshit and stuff going on in industry, in life?
Do you know what? I mean, I got sucked into it at a point. And I have a loud mouth.
You and me both, babe.
So, you know, I don't like people with ego, to be honest. And why would you want to have an ego? I mean, I'm talking about our peers. Like, why would you want to have an ego if you're playing other people's records?
Mhm.
Or if you want to be condescending, or if you want to be disrespectful, or so, either used to fight back and be so obnoxious and horrible,
Yeah.
which I really regret because it's not good.
It's easy to make you, it's easy to make you flare, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm short-tempered, so the thing is, I can't stand, I have to stand up, either for myself or even others, and I've done it a lot. Stand up and fight for others. So the key is to ignore. It's the only way.
You are also a very strong campaigner for social injustice, and I didn't realise how much work until I knew I was going to be chatting to you, and I read up what we've been doing over the last few years, and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that, because it's such an important thing. As much as music is important to us, these things are really, really matter. Tell us about what you're doing on those sides.
Well, I've been involved with the Lower East Side Girls Club in Lower Manhattan for more than 5 years now, and it's been great. And recently, I've done another push for them. I tried to help them build the music rooms and get them gears from Pioneer and Native Instruments and Harman now, and build their radio studios and help as much as I can with donations, obviously, as well. There's another organization I'm involved in is Solving Kids Cancer, and also in New York. The most recent one was the FGM campaign that I did for more than 2 years now, and that is to raise awareness about 200 million girls who undergo this horrific practice from their mothers, families. I mean, it's just insane. And literally now, I'm about to embark on another civil rights, more like a social campaign, but
Right.
stay tuned.
Okay. Can you tell us more?
I'm sorry?
Can you tell us more?
Well, I mean, I think we are gonna have to rally each other up, all the artists and all the music industry. We need to stand up and fight for our rights, because we feel that we are being left out of the equation.
Yeah.
And we need to do it, and we need to be unified and have a one voice. And we are stronger together, and we need to all come together. I mean, we didn't spend all our lives and blood, sweat and tears for someone to tell us find another job or find another skill. I don't know if you heard the Prime Minister yesterday or the day before.
I didn't catch it yesterday, no.
So that was outrageous, and we are not going to accept it. And we are coming together, and we are going to stand up, and we are not going down easily.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm with you all the way. And I tell you, we have to stand up. We have to, it's not just about, closing the clubs. It's about they are, they're stopping us.
There's a whole
anything, singing, dancing, anything.
Clubs, promoters, staff, agents, managers, artists,
across
everybody, everyone that works behind, the brains of the operations. Everyone. I mean, the amount of money that we bring in to the UK is about 6 billion. and we are the greatest export of culture. And you take the culture away just like that, and us stand idle and do nothing. We're not.
No,
We're not gonna. We're not gonna accept that. Sorry.
we will protest.
Oh yeah, we are gonna come after them.
Yeah, yeah. And you know,
So we need our fans to support us as well, because they're gonna lose as well if this whole thing stops completely, if the clubs shut down, if promoters are out of jobs. You're not gonna be able to party and enjoy. It's gonna be stripped away, and I'm not going to go too much into the politics behind it, but it's so simple and it's so clear that we need support. We can't. Everybody needs support. If a club shuts down and turns into an apartment, you're taking away the culture away. We can't let this happen at all.
No, we can't. And like you say, we have to stand together. We have to be unified. Our culture was built on this and built on this equality, this, our community, and we know, there's nothing more important than people being able to have a good time with the music.
And the livelihood of everyone around us. We all depend on each other, and it will be a disaster if we don't stand up. I know.
So going back to let's get back to the slightly lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole Moudaber, when you're away from music, in your spare time, I know that you still like it in the fast lane. And cars is a big passion. Racing cars is a big passion. Tell me about that, because I'm super jealous.
Well, I was 7 years old when it started.
Wow.
I saved my family from a car crash, actually. Mom doesn't drive. She was sitting at the front, and Dad stepped out. It was an inclined hill. I forgot to put the brakes, and the car, started... I jumped and I put the brakes on, and anyway, sorted it out. And at 11 years old, I stole a car from the house and drove it. So I was always fascinated with driving. And it was only till recently, like 4 years ago, I have friends in the racing world, and they told me you should get on it, get your professional license, and let's start racing. And I did. And every year we book a track race and a track race and a racetrack. Sorry, translating from French. And we get all our engineers, and we just do it privately, and we just do laps with these amazing supercars. And yeah, I'm fearless, apparently.
Feel the need for speed.
The need for speed.
So, I mean, obviously, life's on hold, and we've talked about, but, have you been making music during this time, or you're not really feeling it at the moment, or how are you keeping the music apart from the radio show, obviously?
Yeah, I've been making music. I just had a release out with Jamie Jones.
Of course, I've seen that.
Yeah. I did a remix for this rock band, Pivris, that's coming out end of October. I'm also working on my original stuff. So yeah, music never stops, really.
How are you developing your radio? Are you putting so much more into the radio show, obviously, now that you're not gigging? How's that working?
I mean, yeah, the radio is like clockwork now.
Right.
One day I'm feeling this type of music, another day I'm feeling something else. It depends on which mood I'm in, basically.
How do you channel your moods into the music? How's that?
It's the feeling, isn't it? It's a feeling. It's whatever you're feeling. I have to say, like during lockdown, I wasn't listening too much to techno
Right.
because, it's not in a clubbing environment.
Mhm.
It doesn't call for that type of music. So I was listening to a lot of disco and funk and deep house and, even vocal, diva vocals, and something to uplift you all the
Yeah.
time. I was listening to that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've
more.
been the same. I have my 80s on, keeping
Yeah.
the spirits high.
But 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had a different mood and I was like, oh my God, let's get this.
Yeah. Do you think, is it, when you're making techno and going for that sound, is it a kind of darker, stronger feeling that you're channeling through, or can it be a happy feeling as well? How does that,
When I'm producing,
yeah,
no, I mean, even my harder stuff, um, it always has a touch of funk and soul in
yeah,
it
yeah,
somehow. So you can always dance to it, from the waist below. It's
yeah,
not just head banging,
yeah. Get the groove on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even if it's so dark and tough, maybe, it's got the soul in it.
the heart.
I can't step away from it. It comes, naturally.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? When the music comes from the heart, then it has that soul. It's
Yeah,
not something you can kind of emulate or it's
I
physical.
can't escape it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's tough.
it's just a real thing.
Yeah.
So finishing off, really, out there, a message to your fans, a message to the world, your warrior words of wisdom, as I know you are a proper true warrior of the highest order, and I commend you for it. And I genuinely mean this, Nicole. It's amazing to see somebody that's worked so hard, so strong, come through and show really what it's all about. Without the ego, without the bullshit.
Yeah.
And have you got some words of wisdom for us on how to get this through this crisis and how to stay sane?
Well, I mean, be kind and have empathy. Try to understand why people behave in a certain way and try to convert them to the good of the world,
Mm.
you know. Because we are on the brink of collapse and we need to hold each other's hands because we, the people, are stronger together. And I stress on the people because it's not the system. And we can change the world, one mind at a time. That's how we're going to change the world.
Power to the people.
And just be kind, for God's sake. Just be nice.
Yeah. Look after each
Take
other.
a deep breath. It's like,
Yeah. Take a big breath. Look after each other. Everybody's going through shit. Let's all just make sure we're all okay and have as much group virtual hugging as we can.
Just be true to yourself. Just listen to your heart, nothing else.
Nothing else. That's a great way to finish. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Really amazing, and I hope we can actually get together very soon. And thanks for being part of BMC. I hope we can come back next year and be a part of it.
Thank you.
Physically again.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. It was
absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.